What's up, everybody? This is your 3-minute hit from Equity Guru on a company that you might not be aware exists in the world today. But if you're a streamer, you might want to know about this company for a lot of different reasons. The company is Beacn, Wizardry, and Magic. Yes, that is the name, Beacn, Wizardry, and Magic. I've never seen Wizardry in a public company name before, but once you actually start using the Beacn product, you might not think that that's stretching the truth. So this right here, that's a Beacn microphone. And why is it different from every other microphone? I'll tell you, we've had problems with our audio in the past. You might have experienced those in watching our content. We've actually moved offices quite a few times because the background noise was just too much to properly work with. One time we moved offices, and the day that we moved in, construction started on demolition of a building next door. That obviously wasn't good for video, so we moved again and found that the next office was very echoey. This office, right behind me past the NEW wrestling sign and the bobbleheads, that's Georgia Street. And occasionally when peak hour traffic is down there, it can be a little noisy. So combine all that with the fact that my microphone is literally that far from my desktop PC, which has a couple of big fans in it to stop it from boiling over. And behind me, I'm a bit of a soda freak, so I've got a Coca-Cola fridge behind me that I partake with quite often through the day. So all of that noise gets into the microphone and screws up my content. I've just established for myself a pattern where I just put up with it. I figure that maybe 10% of people out there get really annoyed with it. The rest of them, it's just the price of doing business. But you know what? That's because I didn't really have an option before. So I recently got the Beacn, Wizardry, and Magic microphone set up in the office here, and I'm not going to say that it's got rid of all the background noise because there's a lot of background noise to get rid of, and I'm still learning about all the functionality of it. But here's the thing. Whereas most audio processing is done in your computer, which makes those fans spin harder and causes more of a problem, especially if you're processing video and streaming all at the same time. What the Beacn, Wizardry, and Magic microphone does is it processes all the sound in the microphone, in the actual hardware itself, through software on your computer that talks to the microphone, tells it how to process the incoming audio, and then sends a USB cord out of that into your machine that provides a very simple, pre-finished audio track, which means your computer itself is not having to deal with your audio in any great way. That's a smart move. That is interesting to me. And the result is a lot better than what I'm used to. Additionally, the software itself is very intuitive, very well done, easy to mess around with, easy to experiment with, easy to revert, save your presets, play with things that you might not actually understand. There's a lot of helpful tooltips there. There's tutorials online. Basically, you can take your sound, you can isolate the things in the background that are causing problems, and you can get a much cleaner, richer sound out of it. I'm still playing with it. I ain't telling you that what you're hearing right now is the best that my microphone will ever get. Just that this old boy has been playing with it for a couple of days and likes the results a lot. Okay, that's the audio file side of things. Look, you can at any point go onto YouTube and look at reviews from people who've tried the Beacn mics, and you will get a good sense that people really like what they see. For streamers specifically, and that is a really growing, massive part of the audio market right now, this is impressive. It's also got a little light on it that you can turn on and off that does little spectrum-y wipes. There's all sorts of things here that make this an impressive visually microphone as well as audio-wise. But what I'm really interested in is the stock. Now, if you look at BECN on the stock chart, what you'll find is a company that doesn't trade very often. The story is not very known just yet. That's going to change. The guys that started this thing, they started off in a much bigger company designing new microphones for the high-end market. Now, they decided to step out of that, set up their own company out on Vancouver Island, and put together electronics that they thought were the reinvention of the microphone. Not just a step up from where things were, but if you went all the way back to the beginning and said, what could a microphone be if a microphone was reimagined? This is it. I like where they're going with this thing. And now I'm not going to say that every other microphone company out there can't reverse engineer what they've done. Of course they can, but the moat here right now is the sophisticated software that has been written to go with this thing. To revamp an entire line of microphones for a bigger company, it's kind of like trying to steer a cruise ship. You're going to make changes now that might not be reflected for another 6 months to a year. So these guys have a bit of on-ramp to do what they can do to penetrate that market in the streamer community and get themselves to a place where they are making bank. To get there, they've set up affiliate programs where they're working with specific influencers, which they're not just saying, hey, mention us, and if someone buys something, we'll give you a piece. They're actually paying these influencers a set amount of money per month to do their bidding. That is a smart move. It's going to cost a little bit more money, but it's a smart move. I've seen a lot of streamers toss a logo into the corner of their screen and say, yeah, that's my sponsors taken care of. That is a different thing from actually getting out there and telling your users how and why and what you are using to put your stream out. So I think Beacn are doing the right thing on the electronic side. They're doing the right thing on the software side. They're doing the right thing on the marketing side. They're not blowing out their entire budget on print ads in Wired. They're going out there to the people who are actually influencing buying decisions and letting people try the system and see why it's better. Great stuff. But share chart, how's the share chart going to change over the next 6 months? Well, I think as you see an increase in revenues, you're going to see an increase in share price. But also, they are telling their story now, right? Now. You're hearing about it for the first time right now because they're telling the story for the first time right now. They've engaged Equity.GURU to put out some market awareness, to make sure people are aware that they exist, why they exist, what they are, and how they're doing what they're doing, how they're unique. That's what we're doing right now. And there's going to be a lot more of this to come over the next 6 months. Right now, when you buy Beacn stock, there's no one to buy it from. So the price jumps. If you sell Beacn stock, it goes the other way. There's no one selling it, so the price drops. So what we're trying to do right now is we're trying to establish a baseline. It's really difficult to look at the Beacn stock, which today is at 25 cents, but last week was at 34.5 cents, and the week before that was at 22.5 cents, because there's just too much volatility, right? It's unpredictable volatility. It's one person sells 100 shares, 10 cents come off the price. That's not going to be the way it is all the time. Right now, a lot of insiders holding the stock, a lot of early stage founder types with the stock, and they're not in any hurry to sell, right? So if we do get any sort of real activity, any sort of expanded base retail awareness of this stock, I would imagine that this thing is actually going to go on a bit of a run. $12 million market cap right now, which is about, I don't know. I'd say it's on the undervalued side. Now, the next couple of quarters, as sales come in and hopefully sales increase from where they are, I would imagine you're going to see a lot more people get aware of this stock, a lot more people taking a piece, setting up a base, and growing from there. Right now, if I'm buying the stock, I'm not jumping in and buying it in one day because I'm going to drive it to 40 cents. What I'm doing is I'm buying a little bit from 20 cents to 30, and let it drop a little bit more, get some more from 27 to 30, let it drop a little bit more. And I think there are other people out there like me because we have noticed the volume ticking up a little since we first mentioned the stock about a month ago. Now, we haven't really started rolling out the story yet. There's going to be a lot more content about this company, a lot more to explain, and more importantly, a lot more of the CEO and his management team telling their story. I will say this about the management team. Nobody has kicked our ass harder for content that was a little bit on the promotional side. We often deal with clients that are like, hey, you know what, like, don't go too overboard. Even if you like the what we do, like, you know, keep it chill. These guys, the first piece we put out there was pretty complimentary, and they kicked our ass for it and said, that's not what we're looking for. We're not looking to just go out there and tell everybody our company's great and what we do is great. We want people to understand it fully. We want them to make informed decisions. And when they buy, we want them to keep buying for the next year as they see us prove out the business model. And I think that is to be respected. Not a lot of companies in the stock market today, especially when the founders have a significant piece, would tell you, hey, you know what, man? Chill just a little bit. Just chill. Just not so much on the everything is great. I respect that, and I think we're going to have a really good relationship over the next 6 months as we tell this story to a lot of people who not only have never heard of it before, but increasingly our young audience is very aware of streaming, watches as much streaming as they do TV, if not more, and is going to be abundantly aware not only of the potential for this stock to appreciate, but the potential to go out and buy the actual equipment. I would say to you right now, of all the microphones we've used here, this is the one I like most. I love the software component to it. I really think that makes it a difficult thing for another company to recreate. There's a lot of things that these guys have put into play that are wish list items that streamers have never vocalized because they didn't really understand that it was possible. Now that it's possible, we all sort of look around and say, well, why weren't we doing this all the way along? This is a big step up for mine, for audio, and I'm very proud to be working with a company that is prepared to kick our ass if we do anything but come straight down the middle with good information. So BECN will be doing interviews with the CEO in the next few days, but I want you guys to know about it. Get yourselves a position. You don't have to go out and spend your wages on it. You don't have to go out and drop $1 billion on the damn thing. Go spend $300 on some Beacn stock. Just get a position. Because if these guys start putting out the news that we expect they're going to put out over the next few months, and the interest level starts increasing as people see the mic in the market and also on their favorite streams, I feel like this thing is going to have a bit of a run at some point. At some point, it might take a little while. It's a young company, and there's a few things that they've still got to put together. And realistically, nobody knows the story just yet. But if we do our job right, and they do their job right, and this story starts getting out there, this is a really good early stage, low cost entry. Companies like this normally are wrapped around the finger of venture capitalists, and you don't get a chance to touch them until they're doing their $150 million IPO. This is a rare opportunity where an early stage tech startup has come to the markets at a place where you can still make value. I'm not going to tell you that this thing's destined for the moon. I'm going to tell you that I love the product, that it's cheap, that I think the story is compelling, and that it's very different from 98% of the companies we see on the public markets, especially in Canada. I think if this thing gets a little bit of a purchase in the US, it's going to do great. And if nothing else, I support the little guys that decide to move away from the big guys and test themselves against those big markets. I think that this is a potential, really interesting, local electronic story. And when the hell have you ever heard one of those? BECN, Beacn, Wizardry, and Magic. Go have a look.